Hey guys, Curtis from Oz Side by Side. Just got myself a new 15-foot car trailer and I'm making a couple of mods to it just to make it a bit better for my uses. Thought I'd run you guys through it and show you what I'm doing. Alright, so this is the new 15-foot car trailer that I've just gotten. It's 15 foot, makes it 4.6 long and it's 2 meters wide in between the wheel arches. I got it from Sydney City Trailers. I do live in Queensland. I had it brought up here by a mate. The bloke in Sydney City Trailers, they were doing a pretty good price at the time for the trailer, which, you know, just made it worthwhile to get it from them. I had a mate that works in Sydney and lives in Coffs Harbour, so he brought it up for me, which was bloody good of him. But there were a couple of little niggling things that when I first got it, I immediately wanted to change. So first thing I went and did was the wheels. The wheels came with some pretty shonky kind of 80k limited steel rims with some pretty ordinary second-hand tyres. They did offer if I wanted some brand new tyres, but they were asking a bit too much for them, so I just went to the wreckers and for 200 bucks got all four new rims and tyres, so not too bad really. Then the second thing I went and did was it was sitting a little bit low, so I'm towing with a Navara MP300, which has got a lift kit and stuff in it, so it was kind of sitting on a bit of an angle. So first, next thing I did was the axle just here. Originally this axle was on top here. So what I've done is I've taken the whole axle off, flipped it over, and now it's sitting underneath the leaf spring, which actually gives it a bit more height, which works really well. To do that, because this is a disc brake, mechanical disc brake, I had to, it's a bit hard to see, but I'll try and show you, this little welded piece in here. That little piece is what actually links the leaf spring to the axle. And that there, I actually had to cut it off of the bottom here and flip it and weld it back up onto that side. That's all just because of the bracketry of the disc brake. It would have meant that once I flipped it, that the disc brake would have been on that side, which just wouldn't have worked with the whole cabling and pretty much just the entire thing. So that was the way around that, was just to cut off that piece from the back end and then just put it up there, weld it on, and then you just put it all back together and bolt it together. The back one's just a lazy axle, so it's quite easy to just flip over. All you really got to do with these for the real lazy is you've just got to, you just got to take the wheel off and then it'll slide right on out, and then you'll just put it onto the bottom, and all the bolts and everything, they'll just put them upside down to what they originally were. With this one, I actually had to take one side of the hub off because of the disc brake was in the way. It was too big, wouldn't fit through that gap there. So that I had to take that off, which was, it was the first time I've done it. A lot of this is the first time I've ever done this, so it's a bit of learning. But it wasn't too bad. It was pretty simple. The other thing that I was a bit unhappy with was these little things here. It only came with one, and that just means that it's got a potential when you brake hard to actually slip. So I've just chucked a couple extra ones on this. I think it was $2 or $3 from Bunnings. Not really worth anything at all. So that's what I've done on the underside here. I'll jump on out. Next thing I've done is, so originally it only came with one safety chain, which is right here, which when you're towing 2 ton, I rather just have a second safety chain. It also means that when you hook it up to your car, you can cross the chains over either side, and it just works a little bit better. So I actually had a bit of chain left hanging around in the garage, so I've welded that on. I know some people will look at that weld and go, Jesus, what have you done? But look, I'm a carpenter by trade and a landscaper now, and definitely not a welder. I just dabble in it every now and then for a bit of fun, so cut me a little bit of slack. So then the next thing that I've done is So it had one side marker right there, and then nothing going over the back. So what I'm currently doing is I've welded this little tab right here on, and I've got some more side markers in the garage, which I'm going to put a side marker right there. I'm going to put another side marker at the front just here, and then I'm going to put another one just there and another one at the rear. So that's the job I'm currently doing at the moment. And then I've also got some solid red markers, which I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to put 4 red ones on there, mostly just for when you're driving during the night and stuff. Just makes the trailer shine a bit more during the night. Everyone can see you, and you know, it's a bit safer that way. So that's what I'm doing. What the goal really is for the trailer is these toolboxes will be sitting up the front, and that one just there is going to go over there where you can see the mark where it was. It's already drilled out and set. I'll put a photo up now of it, what it looks like with the buggy and everything up on there. So the buggy sits up onto the back of it with the toolboxes up the front. That leaves a nice little gap sitting in the middle, which is going to allow me to, you know, put eskeys, camping gear, everything else in between. For the moment, that's going to be the setup. But hopefully in the near future, what I'm going to be doing, and I'll show you this when I get up to it, but I'm actually over this front end here, I'm going to build pretty much which is the same size as that box. A low box just at the front there, which is going to have a pull-out drawers that come out either side. One side will have the kitchen on it, which will be a barbecue and a bit of a table area with a bit of storage. And the other side will just mostly be drawers and storage. And then I want to have a canopy that comes up over the top here with an awning that comes over it and another awning that'll come out over the back. So the back of the trailer, when it doesn't have the buggy on there and we're parked up, can actually be a dry off the ground area to actually sleep in. I believe 4-wheel drive Super Center do a 2 meter by 3 meter awning, which will sit over the back of this trailer perfectly. And you can also get the enclosure for that awning as well, which will set up the back of that quite nicely. So what I'm currently in the process of doing, and I'll show you. So there's the buggy there. God love her. So actually, as you may have seen in one of my other videos, last time I took this out, I actually flipped it over and put it on its side, which was a bit silly of me. But, you know, bit of competitive, bit of stupidity, and a bit of poor driving, really. You can have a look on my channel and you'll see that video of me rolling it over. But I actually got out of it pretty lucky, so you'll see I got some nice scratches and some new detailing over the back of it. A little bit down the door. The real damage really was the door frame there got bent in, so I actually had to take the whole door off, which was just a matter of undoing that bolt and then the door pops off. These straps that were original, they broke, so I've had to replace them. But yeah, the door got pushed inwards that way, so I actually had to take the door off, put a piece of timber on under each corner and jump in the middle of it to straighten it back out. And it's actually come up pretty good. I had to remove the lower door card to do so and took all the plastics off it. It actually took me a little while to do, but that was pretty simple, and now it closes nice and smooth again. The only other thing I did was there's a clip just in here, and it's a straight pin clip that clips onto this metal bar here. It's a plastic clip, and that actually broke off. When I got it back home, the clip was still rattling around inside there. But what I ended up doing was I just got my soldering iron and a zip tie, did a little bit of plasti welding, and got it back on, straight back on. It's nice and in place now, nice and sturdy. It did pull out all of these bolts here just on the plastic, which all just popped back in quite easily. And then the only other annoying thing that it did was there was a little bolt, which is going to be hard to see. There's another clip up in there, and it came out. I actually snapped the whole plastic piece there, so I had to do a little bit of a makeshift with a bolt, but it's all pretty good and sturdy now, not going anywhere. I really did get out of it quite lucky. It was a pretty slow rollover really, but no damage to anything else, which is important. So, coming into the garage here. So, what I'm making up, essentially, is this. So, this here is just going to sit onto the trailer. Oh, trying to get some good light. So this here is going to sit onto the trailer. I'll weld it up on, and then this here is the little mount for the side marker, which will sit on there, and then that there is the globe for it. So once I've got a couple of those made up, which is currently what I'm setting up there, so I need 6 of them to do the job. So I've cut all the pieces up, and I'm just in the process now of welding and tacking them all on. Again, a bit of a dodgy weld, but for the fact, oh, camera won't focus, but I've only been welding for a couple of weeks. I went out and got myself a Sigweld 135 multi welder, which does stick and MIG. It's a gas and gasless machine, so I'm using the gasless flux core wire at the moment on the MIG, which seems to work pretty well. I just took it on as a bit of a challenge and thought I would give it a go from watching a bit of stuff on YouTube, which, well, you know, I'm pretty happy with how I'm going. I know I've got a lot of practice, but, you know, if you got any tips for me, feel free to comment below. I know probably people are going to say that you can just go out and buy a 90-degree angle, but I need to learn how to weld, and these are the kind of simple little things which I kind of plan on learning how to weld before I take on the mission of welding up a full canopy for this trailer. So, you know, it doesn't cost much to go to Bunnings and just get a bit of steel, cut it up and play around with the welder. It's a bit of an afternoon Saturday project, so it just gives me something to do, but that's how I learn. So I've got them all cut up here with all of their pieces. All I'm doing now is just grinding, filing all the cutting edges back just so they're nice and smooth, and then I'll get on to welding them all up. Then I've got to weld them onto the trailer, drill the holes for the bracketry for the side markers, and then wire it all up. Alright guys, so now I've got all my pieces all grinded up, cut to size and filed down. So now what I'm going to do is tack weld them together. So how I do this, and I know there's tools, things that can make your life easy doing this, I just don't have them. So do what works. So what I'm going to do, what I did with this one here, is a pair of vice grips, I'm going to clamp it onto there. That will give me my nice 90-degree angle when I get the top piece nice and flat. And that allows me to put a couple of tack welds up on the top there. And once I've done those tack welds, take it off, flip it over and put a weld along the inside, which won't be seen. So, and that'll allow me to clean up those tack welds. It should, by all rights, be nice and strong. So, hopefully I'll show you what I do, and let me know if you know a better way of doing this, but it seems to work, so let me know what you think. There we go. There's the first one. Alright, so now they're all tacked together. I'll undo this piece. There it goes. And put that into there, and I'll be able to weld it up. Alright, and there we go. I like to think it's not the worst weld in the world, but I'm sure people can do much better. So we'll quickly do the rest of them. Hey, that was a pretty good weld. Hopefully the camera will focus there. That one's definitely getting better. Alright guys, there we go. All welded up, ready to go. Last thing I'll have to do is just grind off those little tack welds there, just so they sit neatly onto the trailer and look pretty good. I'll give it all a bit of a tidy up with the grinder just to make it look a bit fresher. Give it a coat of paint and then you're going to go on the trailer. Alright guys, day 2. Finishing off the side markers I started yesterday. A little bit of a cloudy day, but not too bad. So, got to move the nav out of the way and we'll get started on it. So, there's bloke sniffing around. Pull the buggy out of the way, we'll get started. Alright, so to get it match up with the old one, as you can see there, a little bit longer, about 10 mil longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim these brackets down, tidy them all up, and they'll be ready to go. First one is going to go right there. Right. These wire brushes on the drills, some of the most handy things when you're doing this kind of work. They're really good for cleaning up aluminium toolboxes as well. You can get all the dirt and everything, bring them back, and they look really nice after you run these over it. But not expensive, just from Bunnings in the tool aisle. Pretty cheap, but very handy. Alright, got everything out of here. So, there we go, that's what it's going to look like. Tack weld that on and that'll mimic that same one there. I'll weld that up and then I'll go around and do the other ones. That weld's come up okay, and that one's a bit crappy, but should be enough to get them going. I am noticing with each kind of weld, everything I do, I'm getting better. Doing it upside down was a bit difficult, just working out the angle, but as long as you kind of keep the puddle moving along with it, it seems to go alright. So just a bit of a learning process, I guess, but I like to think it's not too bad. One thing I did notice when I first started on this side was I didn't wire brush away enough of the actual paint on the trailer, and the weld wasn't wanting to stick. It was just bubbling and spitting back off. So quick wire brush just to clean off some of that paint, and that made it stick and weld up a lot easier straight away. Alright, so here we go. All welded on. Needs a little bit of paint on them. Other than that, they are going to be good to go. So the first step to doing this is these little guys here. Got a bracket just behind it. So I'll pull the bracket off, just like so. I actually have these. I had an old ute that had these all the way around it, so I've actually got a whole plastic bag full of these, which is just what I'm going to use. No point buying brand new stuff when I've already got it. So what happens here is this little bracket, I'll sit on there, I'll center it, make it look nice and pretty, and then I'm going to use pop rivet gun and some blind rivets, and I'll pop rivet that bracket on, and then you just drill a hole through the center there, and that allows the wire to go through. And then we'll, after we've got all of them fitted up, that's when we'll start wiring. Good little tip, guys, don't leave these laying around on the ground. They go through a car tyre very, very easily. I'm speaking from experience, so make sure you pick up all of these and know where they all are. So I tend to put them right straight back on the top, and I collect them right at the end. Alright, now the bracket's on. We'll get our drill, do a hole right in the centre. Now, a little bit of clean up, and make sure the orange is facing forwards, and then it's just a matter of listening for that little bit of a clip, which, there it goes, beautiful. Alright, side markers are all in place. So got the rear bore lights in place. They are running all up along the side. So next thing is going to be to get underneath and wire it all up. Now we've got to wire all these up. So, from memory, last time I did this, it doesn't really matter which colour you use. I believe my memory says that white is the positive and the other one is negative. That's at least what I'm going to run with, and hopefully it all works out. The way I'm going to do it, it won't matter too much. I'll be able to switch it over at the end if it is wrong. So, luckily for us, we've got this one here, which has already been wired up. So there's the wire to it, running all the way over there, and to its little family over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on that side over there. I'm going to splice that wire and make a couple of leads, one for each side, and then we're going to go through and we'll run all the wire. We'll run the wire from light to light, all the way down and through to the end. We'll join it up to the back ones. Day mucking around with this, but finally got there. So this is the finished product. Side markers are all lit up, and the rear's looking a lot brighter now, which is good. Apparently I have a tail light out on that on one side. So there we go. Hopefully, not next weekend, the weekend after, I'm going to get the buggy out, head up towards Gympie Way, And next thing I've got to do is put the toolboxes back up to the front, and then I've got some E-track rail coming hopefully this week, which I'll put a video up of me installing that, and the E-track rails will sit exactly where the tyres are and strap each tyre down on the back of this, so there's no straps going to the actual framework or anything. It'll just be held down by the wheels. So when I get those in, I'll put up another video and I'll show you guys what I've done with that. Alright, thanks guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.